Yo, what's up? This your girl, Legendary Miss T, and this is crazy. Y'all know how we always talk about people acting like they, fake rich and stuff like that. This is why I'm so glad I live below my means. Like, if I was a millionaire, right, I'd be able to keep my money because I don't dress for other people. I don't go buy all that expensive shit. I keep my shit low. So when we in shit like the recession we in right now, you could be able to pay your bills. And if I hope a lot of girls learn that. Like I keep my shit low, low, low. So when things are slow for me, I could pay and I don't gotta depend on nobody. Dr. Umar is a hoarder. They saying that he broke. They saying that they showing all his evictions and stuff like that. Like, stop believing people on the internet, baby. Like, this is crazy. And so sorry to hear what he going through because a lot of people going through that. But I just want to say, God, I am so grateful for a roof over my head, baby. Because man, I know how hard it is out there. You heard me? So let's get into this reaction video about Dr. Umar Johnson and the man that exposed him. And he really don't got it. They saying that he laid up there and spent the donation money for the schools. He been living off it. Let's check in, okay? Let's check it out.
It was his apartment in 2019, and he accidentally flipped the phone. Okay, he flipped his phone while he was live streaming. To be more precise, he was live streaming at the time, and he flips the phone.
fdmgresumes@gmail.com. fdmgresumes@gmail.com. fdmgresumes.
Okay, you guys see this? Okay, this is Umar's apartment. He had his own place back then in 2019. This is prior to him getting evicted. He had been staying here since at least 2010. And the reason why I know this is because the research shows this. Let me show you. Let me do a quick screen share. So this is from 2010. Let me zoom in so you guys can see the date. If you look right here, see where my cursor is at? Date filed. This is December 15, 2010. He was already having financial issues. And again, this coincides with, around the time where he stops working as a school psychologist and he starts full time as a speaker, I guess you can say. So the money wasn't coming in like it was coming in before. So what I can say conclusively that Umar, he stayed at this residence from at least, I would say in 2010 up until 2019. Okay. The total rent was $500. Attorney fees were $250. Subtotal was $750. Court costs, etc. The total due was $830. I mean, he couldn't come up with $500 at that time. He ends up resolving that. Okay, so he stays at that residence for another roughly 8.5 years. Okay, we'll just say 9. Okay, just to make it easy. Now I want to go to 2019 with the eviction that he got in 2019. Okay, Umar Abdullah Johnson. Okay, this was filed September 10th of 2019. And if we scroll down here, we'll see the rent. Okay, so $19.53. I guess that was a balance that was due. And then August, he didn't, because I was reading this backwards. He didn't pay for August. And then we get to September, he didn't pay. And then the date filed for this complaint was September 10th, 2019. So the total rent that was due was $2,919.53. And then the total with all these fees and everything else was $3,541.28. Now, the last complaint didn't result in an eviction because Umar was able to resolve it. But this complaint actually resulted in an eviction, and Umar he just didn't resolve it. So he couldn't come up with $3,541, or he decided not to. Okay. Now, I'm going to propose that he decided not to because his plan was to just move into these abandoned buildings. Remember, going into 2019, after he acquired these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware for $400,000, Umar should have been sitting on about $800,000. But see, the point is that most of the money that he had collected at that time, he had already spent. All he had pretty much left over was the $400,000. He had been living off the money anyway. Now, remember, many of you guys remember in the timeline, what ends up happening is Umar does not start renovations right away. You guys remember this in February 2019? He says we need more money, but he should have been sitting on, again, about $850,000. Okay, but again, he had been living off that money from 2014 to 2019. Once he acquires these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware, there's no more money left. So he can't start renovations right away. So he comes up with the lie that he needs to find the blueprint so that they can actually start renovations. But the point is that it's all about the financials of this. That the reason why Umar couldn't come up in July 2019, $19.53, the reason why he couldn't come up with $1,450 in August of 2019, and the reason why he couldn't come up with $1,450 in September of 2019 was because he had run through all the money. I've shown you 2019.
Style and substance. In the
where Umar flips his phone and shows his living condition as a hoarder. I've shown you the eviction notice that Umar, really this is the landlord-tenant complaint, but ultimately Umar did not resolve this and he gets evicted. This is 2019. And then if you guys look at the video evidence, the forensics as it were, dealing with video evidence, and I've already archived all this and I can actually pull this up. If you guys look at what happens is after a certain date, you don't see him live streaming here anymore. And then you start seeing him live streaming more and more inside of hotels and motels. I can pull up evidence of this too to prove my case. You see him live streaming more and more at hotels and motels because he doesn't have his own residence. You see him live streaming inside of his rental car more and more. You see him live streaming out in front of these abandoned buildings more and more.
Keep the trash off the ground. You know what I mean? He's going to do that. So we got a little contract going. Keep the money in the hood. You know what I mean? Keeping the money in the hood. Make sure y'all keep them donations going. We need them donations. Cash.me/$FDMG school.
You don't see him inside of his residence anymore. And then at a certain point, you see Umar live streaming. It's his mother's residence.
And while we struggle to get the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy up and running, and we're only going to be able to get the small school up because we don't have enough money to get the big school up, we got Negroes who are trying to sabotage.
Speaking of farming, I need some black farmers to get at me. You must know your trade because I'm looking at farmland in Delaware. We need an acre or two for our school farm. We need an acre or two for our school farm. We're going to have crops and animals, cows, horses, chickens, turkeys. We might even do some pigs, black pigs, black pigs. We're going to have black pigs. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Quaker Grits is $20 million a year off black folks. Quaker Grits. Can I have your grit money for 1 year? Give me your grit money for 1 year and I will build 10 schools across this country. If you don't stay in shape, the blood is not going to get to where it needs to get so your Shango stick can form so you can satisfy your woman. She don't want a Twinkie. She don't want no Twizzler. She don't want no soft ass candy. She needs a rock. Because see, as much as our sisters want to be intimate, our sisters want to be held, our sisters want to be loved, they want affection, they want to be caressed, they want to be massaged, and all that's okay. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. But guess what? One thing for certain and two things for sure. Sometimes your wife going to come home frustrated and she had a bad day and things just didn't go right and she ain't going to want to be caressed and she ain't going to want to be massaged and she ain't going to want a forehead kiss. She going to want her cookies crushed. Every once in a while, your queen is going to want her cookies crushed. And when your queen needs you to crush those cookies, you have to be able to meet the demand. Every sister, I don't care how spiritual she is, I don't care how feminine she is, every once in a while, she want cookies crushed.
Make sure you hit the Cash App, $FDMG school. Make sure you hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. My first time I wore a wave cap in over a year. My first time wearing a wave cap in over a year. I forgot what they felt like. It's time to tie it down. It's time to